Hi, how are you? Yeah, I can hear you now. Great. You must have been mute. You were muted. Yeah. Not at all. Welcome to the event. We're just it's just we had a few people pop in and out. Have you been? Did you go to the lectures last week as part of the uh, educators in VR? Oh, fantastic. Well, thanks very much. Oh, right. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. That's great. That's really good feedback. And how has the engage experience been for you? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ye- That's true. We did have Alvin from HTC coming in from Taiwan, or he's actually in Beijing at the moment. So that was really cool. We had some international speakers, but yeah, definitely we want to get more people in from all over the world. But we've got a good few people signed up, so hopefully we'll have a nice crowd today. But I just want to say thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it, and so does definitely the whole team appreciates it as well because Engage is all about like working for the users, you know. Yeah. So I'm glad to have such experienced users and to have like such a great community as well because I really enjoyed I jumped in for some of the other lectures as well. It was really interesting. And it's a very exciting field at the moment, education in VR. So um, we have we have a few more visitors in here. I see as well. There's Tony from Texas. How are you?
Good. Things are good. I'm actually on the Oculus Go, and
Oh, okay.
I'm a content generator for museums and planetariums.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, we were talking back and forth by email, weren't we?
Oh, good.
And
Yes.
this is David James McDermott. So
Okay. All right. Excited to see the capabilities of being able to do. Okay. So, what
oh, I
we
think you
like
dropped
to
out
call
there
a
for a
group
second, Tony.
social experience.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Cool. Well, who else do we have here? We have Miss Dr. Starr. Very nice to meet you. How are you? Oh, sorry, Tony. I didn't shake
And
Tony's hand as well. Are you on desktop? So
So
I'll
I'm
just
on
we'll do a
a,
presumed
I'm on the
handshake. Oh yeah,
Oculus
sorry.
Go.
Oh, okay. So you should have a hand controller then, do you?
Yes, so I see the remote pointing in your direction. It's going up
Of
and
course, yeah. We don't have handshake for that platform. It's a shame, but the cool thing is that we are multi-platform. So people like it's all about accessibility for everybody, you know. So everybody's welcome to come and meet and engage, whether you're just on desktop or any of the varieties of VR that are available. So that's really cool. But sorry, Dr. Starr, very nice to meet you. Whereabouts you from in the real world?
David, I'm the gentleman that got in touch with Chris in Orem, Utah.
Oh yeah, of course.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tony here and I have been working together in the planetarium field for the last 23 years. And he's in Texas. I'm in Utah.
Yeah.
And I'm working at Burr Castle. Brian and I from Burr Castle, we're going to be going up to the STEM office here in the next hour here. So I can only be here for a few minutes.
That's
And
fine. That's fine.
we're going to be talking with the STEM Center about how we're going to take Engage and apply it for the STEM community here in Utah, and more so with the NSF or a grant that they're trying to produce out or get engaged in, and so forth. So
Fantastic, fantastic. No, it's a wonderful project, and I think VR is really well suited to it. So, yeah, what I'll be doing, I sent you a short clip about integrating assets. I'm going to go through that again today for everybody, and Axel as well. I believe I was emailing you as well, so it's very nice to see you, meet
Nice
you
to see you,
virtually.
bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we were chatting away in the Spanish language room previously. So if everyone wants to come on and sit down, we'll go through some of the stuff. So I'm going to go through a little bit of some of the content we did for the Educators 2020, and I'm also going to show some new stuff as well. So let's see. Okay, so I think one of the most important questions that a lot of people have is how to get your own content into Engage, and this is coming up again and again. So I have a video. I'm gonna play the video, but I'm gonna mute the sound down and talk over it myself. So okay, now we go back, and so here we have a YouTube video. So this was a little clip that I recorded for Tony and Aaron there earlier in the week. But oh, sorry, I have to bring him. I have to bring my screen up. There we go, my Dr. Evil screen. There we go. Excellent. Um, so one of the biggest questions people have is what's the best way to get your assets integrated into Engage? And the simple way to say it is basically Unity compatible assets are what we're able to import directly into an Engage. Now, I can give you a little update on the upload feature. So that is in development at the moment, and we're currently planning for Q3 for the upload feature. It's probably going to be rolled out in sections, so we'll probably start with something like something simple like images, and then we'll roll out the various kinds of IFX. But let's have a look here at an example of integrating an IFX. So,
So I have a quick question before you get
yeah,
started.
fire away, yeah.
So I've looked at the video and I'm familiar with Engage, and you referred to IFX. Is that a name that you guys have captured for your assets? Is that a certain proprietary format, or is that just a branding to help promote assets in Engage?
Yeah, it's just a terminology that we came up to help lay people because, to be honest, the whole 3D software and game development, there's a whole range of media that is available to load, and if we were naming them individually, it could get a little confusing for people. But what we decided to do was just group all the different kinds of media that you can use in VR into one group, and we gave it our name IFX, which stands for interactive effects. But
Interactive.
really,
Okay. It's
yeah,
just
interactive.
yeah. Okay.
Actually, I can load up from our educators in VR. I'll load up like a short 30-second bit, and it can demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about. So let's have a look at this, and maybe after we cover the basics of integrating things, perhaps we might go to one of the conference rooms or something, and we can have a chat and a brainstorming session about specific content people are interested in building. So let's see. This should be loading up for us now. Okay, I think I have to stop that media first.
So while that is loading up, I have a
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
So
far
we're
away.
talking about loading up Unity assets, or you call IFX to you guys. What
Yeah.
if, like, for example, we see something like this room? Is there a way that we can download it and then modify it or change it or, make a variation of it as a starting point?
There's no it's not possible for users to modify locations at the moment, but that's definitely in the long-term plan. We do want users to be able to create their own locations and upload them. It's a little bit more involved because we have to provide the SDK for scene integration, and as you'd expect, there's various controls that have to be added into a level that are a bit more complicated than just objects. So, for example, you'd have the hits, and you'd have special functions like these teleport doors, and you'd have all sorts of things. So it's a bit more complicated and a bit slightly higher level than your average user. So that'll take a little while longer. Okay. My lesson for some reason that's I'm not accessing. Well, it's okay anyway. It was the same content as the educators in VR, but basically outlining the different types of IFX we have. Since I'm here, I can show them to you myself. But IFX has a wide range of different types of object in here. So here we go. So this is part of the educators in VR. Can you see the rain? Has the rain loaded up for everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm just going to skip ahead to the section where we're talking about
And you
IFX.
can place as many screens as you like.
Okay. All right, just a little bit ahead.
Those basic ones.
Okay, so so here we have examples of the different categories of IFX. So we have objects such as animating objects like the chicken or basic 3D objects here. We have audio files, so we can have music and other kind of audio effects. We also have particle emitters. So the effects category is particle emitters like the rain that was just falling there. And then we have, I've actually, if you, I put the screen backwards. So if you actually come over this side of the screen, you can see the video that I was playing. But videos are, you can stream video into the location. But I can put down another screen. I can show you. And then the final section is recordings. So recordings are like, for example, this gentleman here is myself. I recorded, and I'll just let it play a little bit.
Here we have objects. And objects can be a piece of architecture, a table, furniture, any kind of object made out of polygons.
So there you go. So this is the basic set of IFX or interactive media, really, that you're able to add into your lessons. But there's also other ones. So we have things which are basically code snippets and special functions. So I'm going to open up an IFX. Like say, for example, up on the wall here, you can see I placed a clock IFX. There's one here, and then there's another one over here. And now you're all in different time zones. So can anyone tell me what time it says on the clock here?
9:15.
9:15. Well, that's your local time. When I look at the clock, I see 4:15. So depending on which, yes, so it's sensitive to which server you're using. So it's really handy. So this will this clock IFX, and if you just open up your IFX and search clock, you'll see it'll pop up there. It'll show the local time for wherever the user is. So it's really, really handy for getting yourselves all coordinated. But we have other kind of specialized IFX. So, for example, we have some of them that are only available inside the editor. We have a fade to black IFX, which you can use for transitions. So, say, for example, inside a lesson, you want all your students to move to a particular point in a level or in a scene. We have a special IFX, which is force seated position. And it's just a plane with some that defines the size of the area that you want to send the people to. But because inside VR we want to always minimize the nausea or uncomfortable nature of moving people unexpectedly, what you can do is you can fade down to black. Then you can transport everyone while their screen is black, and then fade back up. And you can completely avoid any kind of discomfort that might happen if you just drag them across the level, you know. So little things like that are very handy. What I'm going to do now is I have a video which I just want to say one thing. We have a new version coming out very soon. It's currently in testing as a release candidate, and it should be coming out in the near future. So I can't say the exact day, but it may be next week sometime. But the new version that's coming out has converted the content tool into a completely networked tool. So you're able to collaborate. Oh, yeah. Did you want to ask something there?
I was being told that there was a release coming out today. That did not happen.
No, we've held it back to add in some extra improvements. So the release will not be out today. It's going to be moved till next week, unfortunately.
Thank you, because then I don't have to update a bunch of headsets in the next hour.
Yeah, but it does ensure that we're making sure that we're getting the best quality build out to you. We'll always test and make sure everything is rock solid before we get it out to you.
Thank you.
But but the new update on the content tool means you can collaborate. So you can have two people in the room with the content editor, and you can see what's happening in the timeline, and you can work together to build content, which I'm really excited about trying that one out. But okay, I'm going to load up another video here, and I'm going to go through an example of building a scene, just a very simple scene. So we're going to go to My Media. And here we go. We're going to load up this one. So actually, I'm going to stop my lesson that I had running. And we clear those away. Good. And I'm going to clear away my IFX as well. There we go. Cool.
So
yeah, far away.
I have a question. As developing content, we all know that there are different platforms. Are there guidelines or examples of when you've reached the limit of a certain platform? Like I'm on the iPhone Go, and is there an understanding as to how much you can get away with before you break the Go?
Well, we have general guidelines, but for the most part, what we've done we've tried to make it as easy as possible for the users. And what we've done is we've optimized all the assets that are available. And for example, if there's an asset that's available on PC, we also create a really optimized version for all the Android platforms. So for example, we are currently, anyone who's on PC will see the full avatar with all the IK on the body and full body motion. But if you're on one of the mobile platforms, you'll see the simplified avatar. And we've really worked very hard to try and prevent that kind of problem where things get overloaded. And we've done that by just basically optimizing everything that goes into the level. Now, in terms of people adding their own content, there is a little bit more responsibility on the user then, and you just have to be careful with the content that you're uploading, that you're not uploading massive files. But for the most part, we would restrict to maybe 1 or 2K images for textures at most, and sometimes exceptional situations like a sky dome, you might want one bigger. And then it really depends. Just keeping the poly count at a reasonable level, so you're not loading up massive poly counts.
But massive is a open-ended term.
It is,
and it's constantly changing. So I guess
that's true.
Then I guess, is it going to crash, or is it just going to take an extra long time to load up? Or, where do you draw the line, and how do you know when to draw the line?
Well, as a rule of thumb on Android, I probably wouldn't want to make an asset more than 10,000 polys. And really, to be honest, that's a pretty high poly count. But we've tested 10,000 polys for a single asset on the Android platform, and it handles it no problem. I actually have loaded ridiculously large assets onto some of the mobile platform headsets, and it's been able to handle them, but it's been at a very slow frame rate. Let's say, for example, I actually loaded one model up which had an absolutely unacceptable amount of polygons. It had 1 million polygons, and you should never load. That's way too big. But the platform was able to handle it. I really don't recommend it because you'll have very poor performance. But it was stable enough to handle it, which was amazing. Really incredible on a mobile platform. But again, I'd say a good rule of thumb is no more than 10,000 for a single asset.
So
but yeah,
you were saying that that's for a single asset, but is that for the total number in the whole scene, or is it you can have multiple 10,000 poly assets and not have a?
Well, it really it depends on the specific target hardware you're going for. So all the manufacturers have guidelines for the poly count that that is acceptable. And I think, which was the platform you're targeting it in?
Go.
The Go. Okay, hang on a second. I'll just check with one of my colleagues here. But I think it was aiming at something like 100,000 might be the maximum we're supposed to have for a nice performant application. And I'll just, if you excuse me just one second, I'm going to lean over the desk and ask one of my colleagues.
Hey, Tony,
What
Yes.
was the
how did you get it on the go?
Polycount guidelines?
Over
So
here.
The Go.
it's the same APK
100,000. Yeah.
cost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
That's the
sideload it.
Quest?
Instead of having two controllers, you have one controller, but everything else is the same.
Oh, but you can sideload on the Go. My friend has a Go, so I want to get her in Engage, and I haven't been able to do it.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
That's
Oh,
the thing.
so- is it the
'Cause it's
same
Yeah.
side Quest app, or is it different?
there are more.
We'll talk about it afterwards. We'll talk about it afterwards.
Cool. Yeah. We're also going to be releasing a custom sideload app for Android platforms, so that will be available soon as well. But yeah, I checked with my colleague there, and yes, the guideline is 100,000. So you'd really want to aim for having less than 100,000. But again, as we said, we've tried it with way higher poly counts, and it still worked fine. But you would be stressing the hardware, so there might be a shorter battery time on them, or they might overheat a little bit. But I have to say, I'm incredibly impressed with the Android headsets for the performance and the experience on them. It's really good. I mean, it's really a very good experience. So definitely.
So this room right here, is there any statistics as to this room and all of the chairs and the asset as a example of low, medium, or high as far as reaching the limit on the Go?
Well, this room is, I would say, this is probably a medium level detail room, because the some of the assets are quite heavy. So, for example, we have a full lunar module behind us there, and then we have a very detailed Earth. I think the Earth is like, it's a 2K texture, I think, and then we have another different Earth texture here. So there is actually quite a lot of assets in this level. I have our lead background artist is just in front of me, so I'm just going to take off my goggles and ask him. What was the poly count for the moon stage? That was 10K altogether. Oh, okay, but there was 2K for the Earth lander. So, okay, cool. Yeah, so this level, the poly count is relatively low. It's around 10K polys. But we have a couple of large textures. So as I was saying, the Earth that we see up in the sky is a 2K texture. But you can probably see it this performs quite nicely on Android, and you'd still have enough headroom. Like, say for example, this is about 10K polys. You'd still have enough headroom to bring in at least 5 or 6 10K IFX, and you'd still run fine.
Okay.
So we have our video here that we're looking at, and this is just this is just showing you some of the screens. I don't know, has everyone had a go at the content editor yet?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So really, this video is just bringing you through some of the very simple functionality we have in the editor. So taking your IFX, like for example, we'll jump forward a little bit. So this will be the first screen you see when you come in, and you have the option of starting a new lesson, or going to a saved one, or you can also go to the cached data. Engage always caches the data when you leave. So if you forgot to save, you can always load up from your cache data. Is quite handy. So here we go into a lesson, and the important things you have to define here are the lesson title, and then after that, so I'm just putting a nice basic one here. And then after that, we're giving it a file name as well. And if we bring up the next screen as well, this will just let me type that in. So this option here for the standard timer, we've got two types of timer. So one of the things that we thought might be useful for people making lessons is if you wanted to time your whole scene to a YouTube video. So that's why we have the standard timer. Standard timer just means it doesn't use a video to time your whole scene. It just plays all the events normally as they're being called on the timeline. But you can change the type of timer to a YouTube timer, in which case you'd click on the you just change it to the YouTube timer, and then you can put the URL. Again, this may not be something you use, but it can be very handy if you're, for example, creating a more interactive experience to go with a video. Okay, then the next one is the timer length, and so the timer length is in seconds. And then you get to define your location, and the description at the bottom is the information that will be visible to the users when they browse your lesson in the menus. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit now. So here we go. We're into actually putting the lesson together. So we've got almost everything set up. We've chosen a location, and here you can see this is our sequence editor. So at the moment, this is the basic sequence editor which we have, and the way it works is it's simply a list of events, and you can call any sort of media that you can use in Engage, any of the IFX, the recordings, or anything else, and you can just add them as a new event. So in this example, I'm just going to call up one of the IFX, and you can place it down anywhere you like. And you can also use the gizmos as well to do fine editing of that. And then you can start setting keys. So it's possible to set keyframes to animate your object or move him around the scene. Now, the category of objects that are called life have a script added to them that will automatically make them play their animations as you move them through the scene. So, for example, if you make a bear move, if we move the brown bear from one position to another, we can add, it's called states here, but in the new updated version, this is going to be called keyframes. So you can add like their way marker points to control the position of the bear. And as you can see here, what you do is you just select it, or you can add and delete them here. And then let's see. Okay, so we placed the bear in the scene. And then, for example, if you wanted to, I think the most common example of how people use the lesson editor is to just take a recording that they've created of a session or of a lesson and to load it up and add it to the lesson editor. And this is literally all you'd have to do. You just go add event, select your recording, load it up, and then you place it in the scene, and then save your scene, and that's it. You've created a lesson. It's very, very easy. So you also, in the pro and the corporate accounts, you have the options to edit. So for example, if you wanted to replace the audio with a higher quality audio recording, you can easily do that by clicking the replace audio button on the previous screen. Okay, I'm just going to pause this here for a second, and we'll go through some of the options. So when you make a recording, there's lots of different information that's available from the recording, and you have all these tick boxes. All these tick boxes at the bottom allow you to turn on and off different elements of the recording. So it's really, really handy. Like, so say for example, I was recording this group session here, what I could do is I could later, at a later date, decide to remove the audience. Like, say I wanted to create this into a general lesson that everybody can just come in and watch. What I would do is I would check the tick boxes for, say, we have, for example, we can turn on and off recorded media. So that would be anything that the user called up on the screen. You can turn on and off IFX. So say, for example, this chicken would be part of the recording. I could turn off IFX and then the chicken would be gone. You can turn on and off quizzes. So if during the recording, for example, if during the recording the host gave everybody a quiz, when you play that back, the recording, the quiz will actually come out again and the users will have to do it. But if you wanted to turn that off, you could switch it off. And the same for others. So others would be any other avatars that are in the scene that aren't you. And you can do the opposite. You can turn everything off except IFX. And that's a whole lot of fun. I've used it for puppeteering. So say, for example, I'm going to do a little recording here. And I'm going to start a little recording. And here we go. So you'll get a warning there that we're going to start a recording. And I'm going to bring out our chicken. So here's the chicken. And I can puppeteer the chicken so the chicken's walking along. The chicken turns around and then does a little jump and goes across and then goes away. So there's my little recording of the chicken. I'm going to stop that. Now I can load that back up. See, here we go. We bring out our chicken. So you should see that loading up now. Can you all see? Can you all see the recording here?
No,
I just see the chicken.
Just the original chicken.
There.
The original chicken. Well, I'll get rid of him. Okay, so the part of the upload function that is being added for the subsequent builds will be uploading of the IFX recordings. At the moment, the IFX recording is being streamed directly from my machine. Now that's going to be changed, and that's going to the recordings will be served directly from the servers, which will greatly increase the speed. But at the moment, it's streaming the data directly from my own machine here. So, but if you save it in a lesson, that data will be added into the lesson. So, for example, all the recording information will be in the lesson, in which case that sidesteps the streaming issue. But here we go. So the chicken's walking along. The chicken turns around.
Good.
Can we see the chicken? And then does a little jump.
Oh my god. No, we are all. I think you record all the scenes, so we are all double.
You're all doubled. Okay, well, you can see it. But basically, what in the content editor, I could load up this recording and I could turn everything off except the chicken, and all the user is going
to. For some reason, Tony Texas. There is Tony Texas. Tony Texas, I present you. Tony Texas was there. Okay.
Okay, so I turned that off for the moment. It's a little confusing.
Yeah. David, can you go more specific in the experience creator and stuff like that? In almost every lesson, you show the capacities of the program, but know how exactly you do.
Okay, well, yeah, well, let's. I'll tell you what. Let's jump into the lecture hall where there's a whiteboard, and let's write down some of the ideas of the things that you want to build, and I can start giving some examples then, maybe. Does that sound good to people?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to switch it on over and let's go to another location. I'm going to go to the lecture hall.
Can you not bring in a whiteboard in the other rooms or not?
Not at the moment, but we have a updated whiteboard IFX becoming available soon, and you'll be able
Okay.
to bring a whiteboard out wherever you are and engage. But for the moment, we only have the static whiteboards that are part of the room. But come on, everyone, come on up to the board. Let's have a chat then about the specific applications you want to make, and we'll do a bit of a brainstorming session. So maybe Axel, could you tell us about the example of what you'd like to build, and then I can make suggestions and maybe get some solutions for what
Uh,
you need.
what I want to build is kind of difficult. I think if we go there, we never end. But for example, when you bring the bird here
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
say, okay, I want the bird goes to A to B. How
yes,
you
yes.
exactly keyframe that?
Okay, so what you do is, let's see, that was actually the example. I was doing that with the bear,
Yeah.
and I'll load my video clip again, and I'll be able to show you exactly. Video link and engage editor.
I got no problems to place stuff in the environment, but I'm not clear how I move exactly
Okay,
with the
well,
bird.
what controller have have you played with the gizmos to place objects yet?
Yeah, yeah. I place a lot of. Yesterday, I make a hill.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Yeah,
Um,
with some demons and schools
yeah,
for fun.
excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Um, I tell you what, let's jump into the content editor now. When we're inside the content editor, because it's not networked, I'll ask you all, please don't open the timeline because it's not going to work for you. But you should be able to see what I'm working on. So let's just jump into the content editor, and I'll do a little example.
Content editor. Yeah, I'm in media now. I'm seeing what you're doing.
No, oh, actually, do you know what? Because it's easier just to show you the video. So I'll go in here.
Now I
Okay,
got
so
the effects, media, notes, and settings. That's my first screen.
okay, yeah. So if you have a look at the video screen here, so
Yeah.
the bear. This is an example of me. I'm going to add another screen in here actually, so we all don't have to look up. Um,
There, you place a bird. Then you move it a little bit. Where is the keyframe?
so here's one lower down, so you don't have to strain your neck.
Okay,
um,
great.
Thank you. But we can also
um,
see it on our tablets too.
oh, of course,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. I
Yeah.
forgot. So right here, I'm using the gizmo to rotate the bear. And what you do is you go into the bear's edit state, and just on the right hand side here, these are the keyframes. So
Okay.
you can add a keyframe down here with the add state button, and
At
basically
state. Okay.
yes. So that's what I'm doing here at the moment. So first of all, you have to define when the object starts and finishes in the timeline. So here I made it a permanent object, so that means it'll stay there for the whole lesson. But you could, for example, decide, oh well, I want the bear only to be in my lesson for 10 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So I can do that. I can set. So what I decided in this one, I only wanted the bear to be there for 5 seconds. So it starts
Okay.
at 1 second, and then he disappears after 6 seconds. And then
Perfect.
that's the transitions. So if you want them to just pop in, that's fine. You don't need a transition. But if you want to make it look a bit smoother and nicer, you can use a fade in, which will fade his material to transparent, or you
Okay.
can make him grow. I like growing objects, seems to work quite nicely. So I tend to make things grow. And the same for a fade out, you can make it shrink. Um, and so there you go. You'll see that should, if we go back to the start and then play the scene, you should see the bear appears, and then he should move, or I'm not sure. Yeah, no, he just shrinks down. I didn't do the movement yet. So, okay, I go back
Let's
into the
go.
bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically, if you want to make a movement, what you do is we add a state, um, and then
Set additional position. Okay.
yeah, and that's let's see, we'll skip forward until he has a state. Okay. No, no, sorry. You see, if this was the networked editor, I can actually, you'd be able to see
Yeah.
everything I'm doing real time. So I'm so sorry. I really wish the build had
No,
come
but
out today.
it works. It works.
Yeah. Okay, so here you can see there's an example. He has a state, and in the state you can change his scale, or under the options you can select the keyframe that's here. You can also add additional states. So you could say, for example, if you wanted your bear to move between 3 different points, all you have to
Uh-huh.
do is set just go add state, and then you can use there's an arrow here to add an extra state, or you can just keep clicking add state, and you'd have 3 different
Mm.
points, and then you can
Are you
select. Yeah,
are you
far away.
selecting add states? Are you touching that or not? Because I don't see
Eh,
nothing.
no, just in the video, I paused the video for the moment,
Okay. Okay.
because I don't think in this example I actually gave him states. I just gave it one basic state. We'll see it
Can
later
you
on.
do some states for the bird to see how?
Yeah, unfortunately, this video is just a pre-recorded one, so I can't.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So in the video, yeah, because this was just a workaround, because I can't, unfortunately, can't show you the editor screen at the moment. Um,
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah, so it's just a video. But I showed in the
So
video. Yeah, far
I
away.
have to click state, and what's gonna happen? Gonna give me the positions in the give me a map or what?
Yes. So what you'll see when you click state is, let's see. What you'll see is basically, see the arrow and the green point.
Yeah.
That is one of the markers for your state. And
Okay.
when you put down 3 states, you'll see 3 different markers. So you can position the markers wherever you want. So for example, you could have one marker down here, and then another marker over
Yeah. Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
and then another marker, and then you just play, and it will automatically in between those 3 states.
Okay. Okay. It's more. I know how keyframes work, but it's more that how the interface work. But it's
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna investigate a little bit with that.
And at
Will the timeline eventually be horizontal like a normal
yes,
video keyframes? Okay.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
this timeline's vertical now, right?
Yeah, it's really more of a sequencer, which
Mm-hmm.
maybe would be familiar to audio people, but we're converting
Yeah.
it into a proper video editor style timeline, and we're also
Great.
going to have a graph, like a proper animator's graph, and also dope sheet. So if you're familiar with 3D animation, you'll get it straight away. You'll automatically
Okay.
look at it and go, yeah, I recognize
Nice.
that. Yeah. So
Well, I've done
we're gonna.
animation in Flash, but not. So I'm used to the horizontal,
Oh, you'll pick
but
it up
I
in no
haven't done
time.
3D animation. So
It's
Yeah.
easy. Have to
Yeah,
jump
it's
in. Yeah.
definitely, if any sort of animation experience, you'll pick it up no problem.
Okay, here it is. This is a complicated one. I
Yeah.
want to extinguish. I want to extinguish a fire. I
You want
want
to
an
extinguish a
extinguisher
fire.
and
Okay, that one is very easy. So what I would do is,
great.
so you want to, the
Love you,
question is,
bro.
do you, the question is, do you want it to be interactive, or do you want it to be
Yes.
as part of a presentation? Okay, so
No, interactive.
the interactive example is going to be a little bit more complicated. We are working on,
I know.
yeah, we're working on that exact functionality that you're talking about. And
Okay.
let's see, I might be able to spawn one, but basically the way we've worked it, we've created 2 objects, an interactive fire and then an interactive extinguisher. And
Exactly.
the way it works is you point the extinguisher at the fire object,
Yes.
and it registers that it's being intersected, and you have to
Yeah.
hold your extinguisher on the fire for a minimum period of time, and then the fire will extinguish. So we've actually
Okay.
oh, that's cool.
that
Right
is cool.
now, right now, I got a bunch of clients who needs that. So I have two choices. Start to working from scratch, what is gonna be really expensive for them, or if you create it, I can use the platform for that. I don't know how could be the business model, but I'm gonna need a lot of um, how do you say, subscriptions.
So if you wanted to do the non-interactive one or the simpler version first, what you could do is you could have you could do a demonstration basically. Let's see. No, I can't. Yeah, unfortunately, it's only on our staging build. It's only in our behind the scenes build that we have it available. But what you could do in the meantime, right now, is you could create a like
Yeah,
a
it's
step by step interactive one. Yeah,
yeah,
but you
that's
wouldn't get the full interactivity.
exactly that's what I need. Do you get an idea how many time that's gonna take for the
Before we can
extinguisher
get that
thing?
available. Um, I'll have to talk with our dev team because we have the basic example working. It just hasn't been released to the public yet. So to be honest with you, I'll have to check with the dev team. But I'm just gonna note down that question, and I'm gonna get back to you with an answer definitely.
Yeah, or maybe it's for example, one of the people who asked that for me is Colgate.
Yeah,
And it's a huge industry who try to simulate the, the
chemical
environment of
fires.
a
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. But what I have to do is upload here actually factory his plant. So I'm
yeah,
gonna scan that. I'm gonna re re-poly that, make a low poly of that plant, and create different scenario for their work.
yeah,
So I can bring the model here and use the asset from here, and this is gonna be really easy and cheap for everybody.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah,
Um, definitely, and I can put you in touch with one of our business dev people for the specifics about
please.
the business models. But
Yeah.
have I got your email?
No,
No.
you don't get it.
Okay.
I can
Well,
send it to you.
yeah, you can. Anyone who wants to email directly as well, feel free to email me. My email is David James at
Let me check.
yeah
I'm gonna I'm gonna edit this.
yeah. Okay, let's see. How can I? Is there a way I can share text?
Sticky note.
Sticky
Yes,
note.
you
There you
know.
go.
See,
That's it.
there's mine.
See, you have your way
Does
ahead
that
of me.
show up forward to you, or is that backwards?
No, it's only one-sided.
It's backwards.
So I don't know how to. Okay, so I'd have to. There we go. I have to turn it. There we go.
Let me
Although
check.
my email is ridiculously long.
Okay, I
So
take
I
a
just
capture
keep
of
this
that.
as a note in my tablet, and then I can pull it out if I want to share somebody's, and then they can take a photo of it.
That's
Woman's
brilliant. I love
so
it.
perfect. Women do that. Do everything well.
I've been
We
in on the
suck.
Wednesday things for a long time, but I wasn't able to make any of these during the
Yeah.
conference because I was a
Yeah.
volunteer, and so
I think that for a long
was
time, but I
everywhere.
never did.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you very much, Sue. I saw your post, by the way. It was really nice of you posting up the snap from the event. That was really cool.
Oh, I posted several of them. That was on LinkedIn that you were at?
Yeah, yeah, that's where I saw it. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I wanted to make this particular type of event because I used the timeline thing a little bit, but not much. I'm waiting till I can bring in my own assets. And I came in just as you finished telling when that's going to happen.
Oh yeah. Well, we're aiming Q2, Q3, and we're in testing at the moment on it. It takes a fair bit of it's got to be done carefully because as from the general questions people are asking here today, it would be possible uh, to damage your experience if it's not done properly for uploading content.
Yeah.
Okay. I accidentally pasted the URL for my YouTube video in there, so I'm just going to delete that. Let's see how much this Okay. Okay. There's.
Yep, let me get to the camera. And on LinkedIn, what are you on LinkedIn, David?
I'm David McDermott.
Okay.
And yeah, absolutely. Feel free to send me direct messages. I'd love to have a chat. I'm really excited about the ways people are using Engage for all the different projects. Like I was in one example from the Burr Castle guys there. Paul had this fantastic media room he built, and it was just mind-boggling. I never even imagined you could use it like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up having to spend most of my time in AltSpace, and I just don't like that platform at all. I really prefer this platform. I like all the things you can do already in it, especially
That's
the
great.
virtual recording, the recording in 3D space.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it too. Like I've worked doing my email address obviously @.com at the end. But
Okay.
yeah, I've worked doing animation for years, and just the Vive tracker system and the full body motion, it's so
Oh, wow.
instant, and it's really cool. It's it's like
Nice.
instant animation. It's so like for me, like I've spent years. It takes you so long to do any sort of kind of
Exactly.
choreographed group motion, but
Huh.
now I can act out the different parts that I'm playing for a scene, and then in the content editor, I just bring all my recordings together, and like I can act out 5 or 6 different characters for some sort of reenactment or something I'm doing, and it's just so much fun. It's great.
Oh, that sounds great. Now, I taught
Yeah.
math for 30 years, so I'm not familiar with that kind of thing. So I want
Oh,
to
that's
do
fantastic.
some teaching in math.
Okay, here,
That's wonderful.
that's me.
Okay, cool. I will take a
But
snapshot of
I
that.
need to make it bigger because I put my site. Can you make it bigger?
Oh yeah,
No, I don't think
absolutely.
so.
You
How?
can just select the object and then use your thumb trigger to scale it. So just
Okay,
select the object and then your thumb trigger, move it to the right or the left, and it'll scale.
let me check.
That's it. You've got it.
Ye- Yeah, but
That's
Oh, but it's still doing a dot, dot, dot. It's
yeah,
not.
the text
oh
is
yeah,
the
no,
same.
it's kind of like Twitter at the moment. You're limited to the amount of characters you can put on a single
Okay.
note. But
How I delete this? Okay, what I mean.
yeah, I know
You
what you
know,
mean.
I'm
You want to
gonna
scale
hide
it
it.
up and get more text.
Yeah,
Oh,
but let's do this in
You could
different
write it on the
notes.
board and we could take a picture.
yeah, that's true. You can just write it
Oh,
up.
woman's again. Uh,
Just
No,
just
math
logical.
teacher. You're thinking math teacher here.
But I love the idea of teaching math in Engage. That's a really cool idea. Like I don't know if you watched the Welcome to Engage, but when I was in high school, I had a maths teacher, and he explained quadratic equations by showing us how to graph them as a line, and then saying, which was fine. Like it's an abstract exercise for the children. But then he said, this is what you would use to plot the trajectory of a missile or a spaceship.
Yeah.
And straight away, I was just so excited about it, you know. And I would love to see that happening here in
Yeah,
VR.
I'm going to be working with Victory XR, so they're
Oh,
in
excellent,
talks with
excellent.
you guys. So
That's brilliant.
I'm excited and nervous all at the same time because
yeah, I'll be your first customer there, having a go.
well, because I'm hoping the whiteboard gets a little bit better too, because it's hard to write on, and that's my biggest hurdle right now is thinking about how to get the math present.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
once I figure out the objects I want and interact with
yeah.
them, that's one hurdle. But trying to get the math into this 3D space is without having to just write it on the board or PowerPoint.
Ye-
Because I want to be able to field questions, and if I field questions, I have to be able to write out some of the answers, and I can't, have it on PowerPoint ahead of time because I don't know the questions. So
yeah. Yeah, some tools for like what kind of tools? I know there's the math formula programs, which would be a very advanced kind of thing. But what kind of
that would
basic
be
tools would be helpful?
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think outside the box, something different.
Yeah.
When I taught in a classroom, I was at the college level.
Yeah.
I had something that looked like this pad, and I could walk around the room and write on it, and it would show up on the screen, so that
Oh,
I could
okay.
teach from anywhere. And I never had my back to the students, which I really like.
Oh,
And
okay.
then
That's a good point.
I could
Yeah.
also use it to interact with my computer and
Oh,
throw up different things that I wanted. But that was all
excellent.
flat in 2D. I want all of that in here
In
somehow.
3D. Oh, I would love to see that, like a rocket going across the graph as you go. But
Yeah,
to be honest, though, you
and
would
to
have
be
to.
able to graph things, especially, just I want
Yeah.
that to be interactive.
Yeah. Okay. That's some good ideas. I'll note these down. Yeah, we really appreciate the feedback and the practical examples of what people are using it for. I mean, because that's what it's all about. Let me just take a photo of this first.
There you go.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
that the first one is my LinkedIn. The second one is my site. It's not .com. It's xr.industries,
Okay.
and that's my mail, Lurtech. And maybe you need my. I'm actually streaming this right now on Lurtech. This is YouTube.
It's kind of hard to read
Actually,
the writing, though. See,
Yeah,
I'm
I was
still
going
at
to
that
ask.
at
So
that point.
it's Axel dot J or sorry LU
no, LUR.
or ETECH.
Exactly. You're great.
Okay. Okay. Cool. That's good. No, I got that.
The other
I'll t-
Axel Weiss, Axel Ways. I think that's easy. XR dot industries, and in the end is Lurtech.
yeah. No, I
Yes,
should definitely be able to find you. I think, and we'll send on an email, and I'll hook you up with our business development guys, and they can
yeah,
talk to you
please.
about the specific models that are available. Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I'll
Yeah.
also I've noted
Yesterday,
down.
I love to generate panic about coronavirus. Love that
Yeah.
panic. I
Well,
live. I wake up every day and I say how I can make society more scared of that. And yesterday I make two videos, one in my difficult English and one in Spanish, saying that this platform is gonna save your work for the coronavirus because you can be in a safe environment and keep working. And I make two videos explaining that. That was awesome. You can find it in my YouTube.
Well, the
well, I
international summit was just incredible. I mean, people from all over the world, 24 hours a day, got together, and it felt like we were talking to each other, just like right now. And
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that actually, I've been to hundreds of conferences, and that was probably one of the best conferences I've ever been to.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, I really
And
enjoyed it.
in
Like,
your conference, do you got a bear? No.
no, exactly.
Got a bear.
I think there were bears in there. I remember. I only heard about the whale riding. Chris.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you got a cow?
I saw images of it. Yeah.
I don't know.
I did see him
Why?
ride the lunar rover out on the moon, though. That was pretty funny. He got some air doing that. So,
When I know a person for you, yeah, sorry.
yes,
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
Bill,
I
course.
can hear you now.
you were there, Bill. I saw you several times. Oh, good. Oh, you are good. I'm gonna have to take off my headset. Can you say that link? Say it again. Meetup.com. Uh huh. Yeah. Yeah, I really like this platform. Well, and I love the fact that when you record it, you can be inside the recording instead of watching it flat.
That's really cool. That is really cool. I I
That's
have
just
my
buzz.
It's a friend of mine
Yeah.
showing us.
No, I'm really excited about it as well. Absolutely, but I have my notes here, and I have my action items that I'm going to try and sort out. Sue, thank you very much for the feedback on the maths thing. I'll definitely have a chat, and we'll see if we can have a think about any tools. If you want to email me with your ideas for what would be
Okay.
specifically helpful for maths teachers, that would be wonderful as well. Because
Okay.
we always try and incorporate all the feedback we can get and put it into the
Yeah, I'm
roadmap
just.
for
I need to
future
come up
features.
with something new, something outside the box, something outside of what you can actually do in a normal classroom. I feel like science is easy. There's so many things you can do inside
Yeah.
3D, but I'm really I'm having a hard time trying to think of math things besides geometry, the
Yeah.
obvious. But
Yeah.
Yeah, geometry is really easy. I remember. I always give that example when they say, "Okay, this is a cube," and they make that sink. This is a cube, and
yeah.
they make two stuff like that, and it's a absolute abstraction of a cube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's going to be great bringing things in like that, but algebra is a big part of all the layers of high school and college level math, and so I've got to have a way to bring the algebra in.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
I got no idea, even in a plane, how that works.
There's our cube.
It's not bad.
Well, not
You're
cube, our
confusing your
rectangular
class.
box.
Yeah, yeah, it's a
Okay.
rectangle. It's just
Yeah,
a
we won't get
rectangular
into the
box.
specifics of the correct naming of it right now.
Okay, so here's our
It's changed. We got a professor here.
yeah. But
No, so
yeah,
those will be great. I mean, those will be some good things. What's that, Bill? So no.
Can you write it into the board?
Yeah, he's in 2D. He has no hands, if you noticed.
Actually,
So
Sue,
you
I
can
meant
do
to say
nothing,
that.
right? Can do
As
nothing.
like,
If I
say, for
do
example,
this, right?
if you had a desktop application that has the maths functions that you're already talking about, because I know maths teachers often use one of the graphing or very complex maths applications. You could open it on the desktop of your PC and then just share your desktop onto the screen. So students would be able
I
to.
thought about that, but again, you're still inside that box of I can do that in a regular classroom. I mean,
That's
I
true.
want my graph paper out here somewhere where I can touch the graph and move it and
draw on it.
do the transformations on the graph, put some plots on the. I mean, I can do some of that there, but I want it somehow in the space with me.
Yeah.
And that may be a stretch in the beginning, but but that's where I'm looking at. So
okay, well let us have a think about it, and please jot down any of your ideas. But I want to make maths accessible to everyone as well. That's cool. That's really cool.
It would be great. Well, good. And Bill, I'm going to look up your site and find those videos, and when I have some time, go back through that. So.
Okay, well, thanks very much, everybody. I have to run off here now, but it was lovely to talk to you. We're gonna make the creator session every week, and hopefully next week we'll have the new updated version, and we'll be all doing this through a networked session. So fingers crossed that'll be out.
And that's when you'll be able to bring in the actual timeline feature, so we can see you working live.
So you will be able to see it and edit it, and we'll all be working together on it. So that's what the purpose of this meeting is for,
Yeah, well, that's I can sit and try to do it by myself, but it really isn't it's not as helpful as trying to do it together.
Absolutely, no. The best
I
way
really appreciate your time.
Is doing it. It's absolutely the best way is to work on it together. So I'm going to just grab a screenshot of the. Thank you very much for coming along. I'm gonna grab a screenshot as well over here.
Please, Ross, write to me because I'm on a timetable right now with that.
Yeah. And I'm going to run off and have a chat with our biz dev guys and hopefully email. I'll
You can
email
also
yous.
save these boards, right?
Yeah, and the bottom right, if you